All right. It's been kind of a tough week for Seahawks fans. You lose at home in embarrassing fashion to a team with a backup quarterback. And then you listen to the shit that comes out after the game and you start questioning your head coach's mental stability. You start questioning your offensive coordinator's offensive philosophy. It hasn't been fun. As somebody who tries to be plugged into this team 24/7 and not just for 3 hours a week, it's been a frustrating week. Not only do you blow a great chance to go 3-0 and really start the season in a way that puts you right on line for a playoff berth, but then you hear all the stuff that happens in the week between, and you're just like, are we just stuck as a 10 or 11 win team at best? But look, you can make all that stuff go away real quick if you start winning. And if the Seahawks can go out there on Sunday, 2 days from now, and beat a winless Arizona Cardinals team with a rookie quarterback and a rookie head coach, we're going to forget about a lot of this. So basically, what am I looking for on Sunday? How can we make sure that we move to 3-1, send Arizona to a place where their season is, pretty much over, and basically just make us move on from that Saints game? So I've spent this whole week, or the midweek video was all about the offense. You guys know what I want this offense to look like. You know what I think makes sense for this offense to do. But I'm not going to sit here and expect this offense to have a complete overhaul and philosophy change in 1 week. That's just not going to happen. I'm not naive enough to think that Pete Carroll and Brian Schottenheimer are going to look at one bad game and go, oh, we have to completely change the way we're doing everything. It's not going to happen. So, mainly what I'm going to hope for is better execution. You, as players, as football players, you can get a bad game plan or bad play calls, and you can go out there and still execute enough to win the game. You can. And a player like Russell Wilson, the richest man in football, $160 million extension, you would hope that he could be one of the guys who would do that. So I expect Chris Carson to be the featured part of this offense against Arizona. I mean, Penny might not even play, and if Penny does play, he's not 100%, so it's not going to be him. It's not going to be Travis Homer, not right now. It's not going to be CJ Prosize, who, every time he touches the ball, there's a 10% chance he's going to break something. So I I'm not saying I'm not going to get what I want for at least one more week, but I will say this: with what's happened the first 3 weeks, if I was Chris Carson, I would be shoving the ball into my belly button if that's what it took to not fumble it. Just whatever the hell I have to do, I'm not putting that ball on the ground. 3 fumbles in 3 games is terrible. 4 and 4 is just getting embarrassing. So I do feel like he's going to go out there and play a better game. And I'm not so worried about his ball security just because it has to be in his head that whatever I do, I can't put the ball on the ground again. But it's not just the fumbles, it's everything else. He's not hitting the holes very well. He's not making people miss like he did last year. He's not blocking well in pass pro. It's it's not just the fumbles, it's everything else, guys. And as a somebody who acknowledges that the team is not going to run the kind of offense that I think they should run and that I wish they would run, Carson just needs to play better in every facet of the game. But I will say this: Arizona's run defense seems pretty good this year. It's a small sample size. We can't know for sure. I'm not guaranteeing anything, but I think their run defense is put pretty solid. It gave us fits last year in week 17. So far this year, they've seemed to have done some things right. And it's possible that we end up getting pushed out of the run first game plan. And we do end up leaning heavily on Wilson. And all I'm going to say is this: Kyle Allen threw 4 touchdowns against this team last week. Kyle Allen, I didn't even know Kyle Allen was in the NFL until last week. He lit Arizona up. first game of his career, first start of his career, I think, and no problem. So I would hope, I would certainly hope that this offense can do damage as well. We have the highest paid quarterback in the league. Let's act like it, you know. So one way or the other, I think we're going to find a way to score. If it's because the running game is executing better, so be it. If it's because we unleash Wilson and he can go to work against a Arizona secondary that seems like it's not very good, then that's great too. I think we will see better production from the offense this week, one way or the other. Defense. This is where I'm really hung up on this one because I truly believe that air raid is the future of football. All the college teams are doing it, and it's actually been damaging the NFL lately because a lot of offensive linemen, especially, play spread offense in college, and then they come to the pros and they don't know how to block for a pro offense because they're so used to. In the spread, a lot of offensive linemen just stand there. you know, they don't even have to block because the ball is out so fast and the defense is spread out so thin. And they get to the NFL and they just can't. They can't handle it. So I really do think that air raid is the future of the NFL in 10 to 15 years. I think a lot of teams are going to be doing it. And Arizona might be one of those teams that's ahead of the curve. Whether or not they do it right is immaterial, but I think they have the right idea. It's like I think the Paul Westphal Nuggets kind of invented run and gun, and then you had the Run TMC Warriors, and those teams were not super successful, but they did lay the groundwork for the Mike D'Antoni 7 seconds or less Suns, who were, the embodiment of run and gun. And they didn't win a title either, but they laid the groundwork for what the Spurs did, and now what the Warriors and the Rockets are doing. And now all the successful teams seem to use those philosophies. It's the same thing. Arizona, maybe Kyler Murray isn't the answer. Maybe Cliff Kingsbury specifically isn't the answer. But I do think that air raid offense is the solution to what is ailing the NFL right now. And, I'm kind of jealous. I would love to see what Wilson could do in an air raid type offense. But look, knowing what we're facing, if we go out there on Sunday and Kyler Murray just throws all over our secondary, which has just played okay through 3 games, it's a mixed bag. Shaquille's been good. Trey's been mediocre. Bradley's been fine. Delano Hill's been fine. Nickelback, dimeback, it's been all over the place. But if he lights us up and Pete Carroll is happy at the end of the game because we stopped the run, I might have a conniption on video. I almost had one last week, didn't happen. I might lose my mind in a video after the game because Arizona has, in 3 games so far this year, shown that they were not bluffing this offseason. They will deprioritize the running game in order to get the passing game going. Kyler Murray through 3 games, 54 attempts, 40 attempts, 43 attempts. Now, the 54 was overtime. I understand that. And he's been playing from behind in all 3 games. That's part of it too. But if you look at David Johnson's rushing stats, he's barely getting the ball. And, like against Baltimore, he had like 11 rushing yards on 7 attempts or some really low number like that. So what I don't want to see is Kyler Murray throwing for 400 yards and then Arizona runs for like 30 yards and we're all happy that we shut down the run, which is basically what we did against the Bengals, by the way. The Bengals threw for 400, ran for maybe 40 or 50 or something pathetic like that. And I got the sense that Carroll was just really happy that he stopped the run, even though the Bengals did not really care about the run. And it seemed like it wasn't a big deal to them because they were able to move the ball up and down the field. It's just, if I see that again, we have a huge problem. Now, the good news is that through 3 games, I'm looking at it right here, Kyler Murray has been sacked 5 times, 3 times, and 8 times. Teams have been getting to him. And don't get me wrong, once again, he's been playing from behind in every game. Against the Lions, they were down by 18 points in the fourth quarter. Baltimore, I think they were down by 3 scores at one point. Carolina, they were behind for much of that game. It affects those kinds of numbers, but my expectation has to be that this is the week the pass rush really wakes up. Clowney's out there. Anza looks like he's a go. He did show up on the injury report, but it sounds like he's going to play. I have to believe we can get to Murray, rattle him, hit him a couple times, and hopefully he'll make some mistakes. We could use a quarterback against us making some mistakes. This is not a ball hawking secondary. We need quarterbacks to make it easy for us right now because we're not going to get any interceptions. But those are my takeaways. We should be able to pressure. If we can't get pressure on Kyler Murray, something's really wrong. Our secondary is thin, and I don't love it when the Cardinals go 3 wide, and especially when they go 4 wide. But I have to believe that Pete Carroll is ready for that. I have to believe he watches enough game tape to know that Arizona is going to go 4 wide a lot and that he's going to be ready for it some way, somehow. And if not, I'm really going to question his mental faculties. And look, one reason why this week was so stressful for us is the injury report was ugly. But Friday night, I'm looking at it, it ended up being pretty darn peaceful. Posick is probably not going to play. Seems like we're going to have everybody else. Quentin Jefferson, Ziggy Ansah, Rashad Penny. I think they're all more likely than not to play. This is actually a clean game. Both teams seem like they have all their guys. So yeah, no excuses. Go out there, get the job done. Rookie quarterback, force him to some mistakes. Just got to do it. We're going to know everything we need to know about this team in the next 2 weeks. If it goes well, we could be, division crown bound. If it goes poorly, I think you can start to kiss it goodbye. But go Hawks. Make a video after the game. See you guys later. Go Hawks.